All right, sorry to be a couple minutes late. I was over on the Psychic Medium Squares page sharing my very scary alligator story. So, poof, now I'm over here. Um, so I was sharing this story, and I'll share it here too, but I did want to make sure to share it over there. So I work so if you were just over in Psychic Medium Squares, this first part's going to sound really familiar. I live in, hi Claudette. I live in Florida, and I work as a manatee observer for Save the Manatees organization. And several times a week, I drive about an hour north from my house to Blue Springs State Park, where I work protecting the manatees. Blue Springs is a very important warm water refuge for the manatees in the winter, and in the summer it's a great place to swim and tube down the river, and it's really beautiful. It's incredibly beautiful, and the tree energy is just fantastic. So I am there to protect the manatees from the swimmers and the canoes and the kayaks during the swimming season. And in that, we also get alligators because it's freshwater, real water, Florida, it's wild. And I love being part of it. I love working with the manatees. I love teaching people about manatees. I love every part of it, especially I love the manatees. They're so stinking cute, and I wish I could hug them, but they are federally protected, so it is illegal to touch them. And I do sometimes get jealous of the swimmers that get the manatees come up and rub on them, even though, no, that's manatee's fault. Anyway, so a couple weeks ago, I was watching an alligator because we have an area where you can't swim, and it's where we allow the alligators to be. It's kind of a buffer zone, so the alligators can't get too close to the humans. And this one alligator was being more and more aggressive, and we had been watching him for a few weeks. With his behaviors, seemed very much like he was not afraid of the people. Usually, alligators, they like to lurk, they stay on the sides, they like to hide and camouflage, and then they jump up to get their fish or their bird. This alligator had developed a habit of laying on the bottom of the spring. It's about 8 or 9 feet of water, laying on the bottom of the clear water, and people would go over him in the canoe or the kayak, and they'd be like, "Hey, there's an alligator down there." But then he started coming up alongside the boats, where like he was coming very, very close to the boats, and that's not a safe practice. That is an alligator showing he's clearly not afraid of the people. So on this particular day, the park staff was trying to get him out and relocate him. So my job in that moment was to watch him from my kayak, and being an empath, as I was watching him and he was staring up at me and I was staring down at him, I could feel his anger as I was in his space. He did not want me in that space. And I had looked away for a minute to something, and I heard it in my mind: look now and move. And so I looked back, and here comes this open mouth alligator. And they're quick when they want to be. They don't look like it, but they're quick when they want to be, and they climb very well. And here in Florida, we have lots of chain link fences that go like this because alligators can climb a chain link fence. So I heard in my mind, look now and move. And so I looked back, and here comes this alligator mouth coming up from under the water, and he was still maybe a foot or so under the water. And I just slammed my paddle down into the water, and I paddled away as quick as I could. And then, of course, I had to go back later to spot him again for the ranger. And they did actually get him out and get him removed. But it was the fear of, oh my gosh, didn't hit me for a couple of days. And in that time, I was like, well, that's a thing that happened. And, okay, my adrenaline and, okay. And I went back about my day. But over the next couple of days, this thing started to unpack in my mind. And I was like, oh my God, he could have knocked me out of my kayak, and I wouldn't have had my walkie-talkie, would now have been at the bottom of the water and wet. And I had my whistle, so I could have whistled maybe for help, but what if he bit my arm off? And oh my God, and all those thoughts that go through your head. And so the fear of it, and it's very down deep where he was, the water is kind of in this very steep little valley. And so where he was, if I'd have swum to the side, nobody would have been able to see me that wasn't in the water or on the water. And so all of those thoughts start to go through your head, and to get very afraid after the fact. And kind of like if you've ever been in a car accident, you can hear that terrible crunching sound, and you'll hear that sound for a while afterwards, and that's part of the trauma. And so it wasn't until I started to really look at the spiritual aspect of this. So my camera went out again, but it says I'm still broadcasting. So if you can see me, let me know. But it wasn't until I started to look at the spiritual aspect of what is the alligator, the spirit animal, what is the alligator trying to tell me? And remembering that Mars is now in retrograde, right? And Mars is our masculine energy. And literally, this alligator was coming up, rising to the surface, literally rising to the surface. And what did I need to learn from that? And so the alligator spirit energy is not malicious, but it is all about trusting your primal instincts and leaning into your gut reactions, your gut instincts about things, and also about um, uh, being open to opportunities. Alligators are very lazy. They lay in the shadows and they wait, and they are very patient to creep up on their prey. He waited until I was looking away, and then he sprung into action. They're very calculating and they're very patient, and then they leap very quickly. And they don't miss many of those opportunities because they're very strategic that way. So there are lessons for us to learn in that. Keep a better distance from alligators is one, of course, but there are lessons to be learned in that. Patience, following our gut instincts, listening to that primalness inside of us, and when there's an opportunity, jump at it. And so as we are in, thank you, Lake. I'm so happy to be like safe with your own spirit alligator. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Rude, uncomfortable, but yep, very much a wake-up call. And so what is it that you've been procrastinating? And for me, I know, like, I'm still not as finished with my online course as I want it to be by now so that I can launch it for you. And I am working on that. And so I know that that was also a big wake up call for me too. I need to get this done because people are waiting and people need this knowledge. And so those things that really shake us into action. And so it's not, when I started to look at the scary alligator story as something like a blessing, it really shifted my perspective. And I will tell you, in all honesty, it's been giving me a lot of difficulty sleeping over the last few weeks, especially like Saturday night, as I knew I was going to be back in the water on Sunday. And so the nights before I would be back in the river, and I love being there, but it was just that, it's your human brain versus your higher mind, right? And as I started to look at it from a more spiritual perspective of what am I supposed to learn from this, I slept great last night. I mean, I really didn't have any problems because I have now a different perspective about it. And I think that's really, really important. One of the things that I teach is all of the trauma that we are through, all of the things that we go through and that we suffer through, and that really shakes up our lives, if we're willing to look back and reflect, has blessings in it. And so often we come through a trauma and we're like, I need to get through this. And we put the blinders on and I need to get through this. Like, if you follow my blog, or if you've heard me tell the story of Bank of America, it's in my blog, you can read it. But Bank of America, during the housing crisis, when they were foreclosing on all those people, they were foreclosing on properties they didn't even own. And they tried to foreclose on my house 6 different times because of a clerical error in their computer system. And we fought them and fought them and fought them. And now they, here's my home. Yay, me. But in that time, I remember thinking, blinders, I just need to get through this. I just need to get through this time. I need to survive this. And when I got through, my health really deteriorated rapidly on the other side of it. Once the danger was gone, right, we get that post-traumatic stress. And that's when the collapse of all the adrenaline goes down. And that's when we have the come apart. But it took me a little while to be willing to look back at all of that and say, what was I supposed to learn from this? Where were the blessings? And so often we come through a trauma and we're like, I don't even want to think about it anymore, let alone turn around and analyze it and say, what was I supposed to learn and where was the blessings? Because a whole lot of times we want to say, pardon me, fuck you. I don't want to even think about this anymore. I don't want to hear, blessings. There's no blessings in that. Those, assholes tried to steal my house. So it's hard for us to do that. And with enough time and a little bit of patience, when we're willing to turn back around and look at those experiences and say, that sucked, but where was a blessing? Where was, and it's not, was there a blessing? It's where was the blessing? Because in everything that the universe gives us, there is a blessing. You may need to dig for it, but in every trauma that the universe gives us, there is a blessing. There is a lesson in all of it. And all of it is designed to help us move forward on our path. So part of why I wanted to share this and why I felt compelled to like jump over to Psychic Medium Squares and share just a little bit of it wasn't just to bring you over here, but it was really because I feel like there's so much that is going on with our energy right now. And so we know that Mars is in retrograde and it's going to stay in retrograde to the end of the year. So we're going to have Mars in retrograde for a while. And Mars is masculine energy and it's the bullying. And so we're going to see that, especially as we look at, so, you know, in this country, the Democrats had their national convention. The Republicans start their convention tonight. We're coming into the height of the election season. It's going to get ugly around here with everybody trash talking and mudslinging and yelling, and friendships are going to end and people are going to, you know, be fighting, and until we get this election over with, until people can really understand where the country is going. You know, it's no secret I'm a blue voter, and Joe Biden talks about that we are fighting for the soul of our country right now. But the folks on the red side are saying the same thing, that we're fighting for the soul of our country. And so I guess it just depends on what you feel like that means to you. And I'm not trying to be political, but when you're looking at that perspective of we're fighting for the soul of our country, there is this sort of collective holding our breath in this country until after the November election, until the country, the people know, all right, we're either going my way or we're not going my way, or we're going your way and not my, you know, whatever that is going to turn out to be. And so there's a whole lot of people that are just feeling like, I got to just get through this. I got to put my blinders on. I got to get through this. But if you can, while you're going through this time that is admittedly a very difficult time in our history of humanity, not just in the United States, but as we're going through this time, what are you learning? What can we be learning? And where can we follow our gut instincts, and where can we stand up? And you know, follow our primal instincts. So I really try and be very transparent and share with you all what's going on in my world. So we're fighting with the home insurance company. We're not really fighting with them because we can't even get them on the phone. So we've been without a dishwasher for almost 2 months because the home insurance company sent out a company that repair people that were completely inept. And because most of them are working from home, it's hours on hold to even get a person who can answer the phone, and then that person can't even solve your problem, which means they have to pass you on to another person, which is hours on hold. And it's just been a very frustrating situation. And so my husband and I decided that we are being, you know, I feel like there's a lot to be patient, that we're learning patience in this time of COVID, because with so many people working from home, customer service is really taking a hit, and we have to be patient because any place that you're going to call for some kind of customer service, it's an hour on hold for a lot of those places. But 2 and 3 hours, this company is not doing their job. This company is not, they could be hiring people. So there's a line between learning patience and like the alligator, laying low and waiting to see what's going to happen. And then there's a point where you say, okay, it's time for me to make a move. And so we listen to our guts. And so I think that's a really big part of the lesson that we learn from these kind of things, especially with Mars in retrograde, along with all the other planets of Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter. I literally have a list because I can't remember all the planets in retrograde. How long do you stay where you are? And when do you make your move? And so I encourage you, as we're in this time of a Mars retrograde, it isn't about getting your man on, and it isn't about manhood. It's about balancing your masculine with your feminine and listening, looking, and making the move. And so I really want to share these 2 stories that are, you know, kind of stupid stories about, you know, I almost got eaten by an alligator and my dishwasher's broken. But both of them illustrate that it's important to listen, it's important to be patient, and it's important to follow your gut reaction and make your move. So whatever shift that you're looking to make, or that you're being called or pushed or directed to make, have faith, trust it, trust your gut instincts, and allow your inner alligator to guide you, not to eat you, but to guide you. So I think that was what I wanted to share today, because I felt very strongly that although I had posted this about the alligator on my personal page, it was more just like, hey, this is a thing that happened. But as the time's gone on and I've been dissecting it and really processing it through, I realized that there was something much more spiritual about it, and that I needed to share. And I was very happy to be able to do that for you today. So hopefully, learning to follow your inner alligator, there's some value in that for you. And I want to share one other thing. I'm super excited that I ordered my Oracle of the Seven Energies. This is Colette Baron Reed's new deck. Now, when I participated in Oracle Palooza, which is normally her conference that's in San Diego, and it's like $1,000 to attend even before you get on a plane. And so because of everything going on, the blessing was they did it online, and over 3,000 people were in attendance to that event, as opposed to the normal 300 or 400 that they usually have. And so I was so excited because she was launching this deck. And so during the time of that, I was able to use this deck virtually, like on the app that she had. And so I was so excited to be able to get this. They came in the mail today, so we won't be using them today because I've got to, season them and get to, energetically connected with them. But I'm very excited that we will be using these coming in the next couple of days. So I'm very excited for that. So let's grab our goddess and see which goddess is talking with us today. So we have, really have been enjoying working with the Goddess Power Oracle. And so if you have questions, please don't hesitate to throw them in the chat. I have no idea. I hope you're still there. I have no idea because my camera, when you go live and you can see your own video. Oh, Doris, yay, you're here. Of course it will replay. Of course, not to worry. Don't worry. It was a very riveting story about an alligator. So, and we're just getting into the cards, so you're perfectly timed. So glad to know somebody is out there. All right, so interesting. So Nyx, which is the goddess, and we have secrets. So let me look and see what we've had her before, and that's very, very interesting to me because it's something I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday about secrets. So let's find out. All right, and I'm of an age now, I need my, so this is the goddess Nyx. It says, remain true to your intentions and keep moving forward. Aha, isn't that interesting how that ties into what we've been talking about? Remain curious and open to what you can discover. Allow your need to know the details right now to fall away. Just be present to all that life is offering you. Judge nothing as good or bad. Just be with what arises. What rises, right? Soon the measure that you seek will be revealed, and it will be better and more valuable than you could have imagined. Goddess Nyx knows what's best for you. Trust, and all will be revealed in divine timing. So this is so exciting to me because truly what they said to me was, look now and move. And so this is where we have, don't worry about the details. Trust your instincts. Trust the universe. Trust your instincts. How exciting is that? I love when the cards, and the cards are always right. So I love when the cards align in that way. It's always so, it just makes my heart so happy. So we will continue to work with the Work Your Light Oracle, which we've been working with for such a long time. I absolutely love this deck by Rebecca Campbell. I think this is one of my favorite decks, although I am super excited to go into the Oracle of the Seven Energies. I really loved working with that during the Oracle Palooza because it was all about the 7 chakras, even though it's not about chakras per se. It's about the energy centers in the body, which are the chakras. So following those energy centers and being able to add those cards into our weekly reading of what do we need to know, what energy center is most active or needs the most focus this week. So I'm excited for that. So here we have boundaries. Oh, isn't that interesting, especially in lieu of our alligator story about setting boundaries and not letting those little things throw us off, and not letting negative energy come and get in the way and cootify all of our stuff. Okay, setting our boundaries and being able to say, okay, I see this and now I'm protecting myself and I'm setting boundaries. And we go back to the 3 questions if you've heard me do this, right? Is this my problem, conundrum, situation? Do I have the power to fix it? And did anybody ask me to fix it? So those 3 things are super important when we're dealing with others around us, keeping your boundaries strong. And that is so much what Mr. Alligator was doing, because he knew I was in his space. I knew I was in his space. I was too close to him and I knew it. But because of the way the water was, I couldn't see him without being so close to him. And if I had just passed through, nothing would have happened. But the fact that I was sitting there in my kayak, he was really felt encroached upon and I knew it. But I wanted to be able to keep an eye on him because he'd been such a sneaky bastard. So I wanted to make sure that the park rangers, when they got in the water, were going to be able to find him. So knowing those boundaries, and so I had really gone into his space, and then he tried to come into mine. So having strong boundaries, really important. And again, following your gut instincts, right? And so this next card is play. Have fun. So things are getting bumpy, okay? And they're going to be bumpy, especially in this country with coming up into the election. We've seen all the astrologers are talking about it's going to be a bumpy ride in the fall, but then it's going to be better in the winter. And for all of the things that are going on, take time to relax. Take time to play. Take time to float. If you have access to a pool or a bathtub or something, and you can get a little floaty and just float, okay? Or if you float, just float on your back. But take the time to relax. Take time to do something fun. With all of this stuff going on with COVID-19, I think a lot of people have really forgotten how to get out and go have fun. It's part of the reason why my work with the manatees is so important, is because so many more people are out in kayaks and tubing down rivers because they can do it more socially distant. It's also part of why the manatees fatalities are higher this year, because people are out in boats and they don't know what they're doing. So take time to play. Don't hit a manatee with your boat, but take time to play. Take time to do things that make you smile and laugh. This weekend we celebrated my father's 80th birthday. It was such a joy to see him belly laugh. That my patio and my house and the back of my house is big enough that we were able to socially distant, at least enough to make all of us comfortable. I don't think my mom will be comfortable without masks unless we're like 20 yards apart, but we had such a nice time, and it was so wonderful to see my dad enjoy silliness and teasing and belly laughs. That was, for me, the best part, was to see my dad laughing that way. Because I think even during all of this stuff, and we know it's going to get bumpier before it gets less bumpy, let's not lose our sense of humor. Let's not lose our sense of irony and silliness, and let's not be afraid to laugh. I think that is so important. You know that saying, laughter is the best medicine. It so is. We release endorphins when we laugh. We release stuck energy when we laugh. We cough, we sneeze. We release energy from our bodies when we laugh. And having that release is so important. Orgasm does that too, but the laughing is much more well, I guess it's more inclusive. This depends on who. Anyway, laughing is so important, and it really is so good for the soul. So please, in the midst of all this, don't forget to play. Okay, even though we know Mars, the bully, is hanging over us, it's okay. We can still laugh. The best way to diffuse a bully, right, is to make fun. So to laugh at them, they don't like that at all. So if you've seen any teen angst movie about a bully, in the end everybody is all like, ha ha ha. It's okay. So anyway, off track. Akasha. So we have our Akashic records, knowing that there is a record of everything that is or was or will be, and that everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to. Our Akashic record is the record of our divine of everything that's ever happened to us in all of our lifetimes, and all the decisions and choices and all the places in our path. Everything that's ever happened to us, and all of it is recorded, and all of it is exactly as it's meant to be. There is no wrong way. There is no not being on your path. You may look at your path. Nobody's path is like this. Like if you've seen that thing, oh, the path to success, and it's this straight line, and that's a lie. The path to success is like, and you've heard me talk before about the Jeremy Bearimy timeline, which if you've ever seen the TV show The Good Place with Ted Danson, that's how they talk about time in the afterworld of it's like the writing the name Jeremy Bearimy in cursive, that it folds back on itself and does all of this. But there's not a wrong move. Just because you've gone backwards doesn't mean it was negative. It doesn't mean that you've made a wrong move. That's still the path. That's still the path. And so even though we're doing all of this, and remember we talked just a few minutes ago about being able to take off the blinders after traumatic experience and being willing to look back at it and say, okay, what do I learn from this? Where are the blessings in that? Because every time we loop back around, there's blessings if we're willing to look, if we're willing to learn, if we're willing to be open to what are those lessons that we could be learning from those difficult situations. So this thing with my alligator was really plaguing me and causing me sleepless nights, really, until I understood it from a spiritual point of view to say, okay, this was a scary thing that happened to my human, and my human is like, huh, but what about from the higher level? What is the spirit message? What is the spirit animal of the alligator trying to tell me? What am I supposed to be seeing? Where is the lesson and the blessing in this? And that is when my energy around the whole event shifted. When I looked at it from the soul level, what is the spirit animal trying to tell me? What can I learn from this? And so all of that is recorded in our Akashic records. And then we have the opportunity to make the choice to say, what am I going to do with this information now that I have it? And so I come back to the alligator. Look now and move. Look now and move. Follow your inner voice. Follow your gut instincts. Be patient. When you see your opportunity, jump at it. Take it. Don't bite another person, but take your opportunity. Look now and move. And so that was what was really on my heart, called to share with you today, was the story of me and my alligator, and to be able to share that wisdom and tie that back into what is going on with us, with the universe, because every week it's going to get, you know, we've seen it for 3-4 years now. The dark is rising, the light is rising. It doesn't mean that they're getting stronger or bigger or more powerful. They're being more present and they're being more conscious. People are being more aware. The dark is rising does not mean it's getting bigger or more powerful. It means people are aware of it. Now, that could be a good thing. In this case, we saw the arrest of Steve Bannon, and there's, question about whether or not this corrupt human being is going to flip on the government and share what he knows about some other corrupt human beings. So that's rising of the dark, that they are being more aware. We are more aware of the corrupt dealings of the dark energies. At the same time, we have the rising of the light, because this is the law enforcement and the people marching for equality and the people making moves for change in our world. Rising of the light. Are they getting stronger, more powerful? Well, I certainly hope so. But at the same time, what we're really talking about is awareness. More people are being aware. Black Lives Matter. Being aware, we're waking up to the different things, the factions that are in our world. And then we get to be the ones to make the choice. Do I want to be over here? Do I want to be over here? So the rising is not necessarily the growing or the powerful. The alligator did not get more powerful because it rose up from the floor of the spring. The alligator came to much more to my awareness because he rose up. So we're seeing the rising of the dark and we're seeing the rising of the light, which gives us the opportunity to make a choice. Look now and move. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Okay. So know that Nyx, the goddess of the secrets, she is keeping watch over us. And this is not like, oh, there's stuff you don't know. This is about, there's stuff that you don't need to know. You don't need to know how. You just need to trust. We trust that all things are working together for good. And I do, even though some of this stuff is like, really? 2 hurricanes in the Gulf? Come on. All things work together for good. There are blessings in all of it if we're willing to look. So we trust, where am I? We trust the universe. We set boundaries. So as we're being more aware of the dark, we make sure that we set boundaries so it does not come too close to us and we do not get enveloped by it. I set boundaries. I put my paddle down. I slammed my paddle down between me and the alligator, and then I paddled like crazy. It was like, boom, pull, 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 right? So we set a boundary. I drew a line in the water right then and there, and then I moved myself away. So we set boundaries, and it's really important that we're setting boundaries. It doesn't have to be cutting people out of our lives or, evil or malicious. It doesn't have to be mean. We can set boundaries with love. There are people in my life that I love. They cannot be in my life right now for whatever the reason. I love you over there. I love you. I want only the best for you. I just don't want you in my life right now. And that's okay. We're allowed to say that. We can set boundaries with love and strength and compassion. Setting boundaries does not mean I refuse to be a dish rag. I refuse to be a dish rag. But setting boundaries is about creating the space that I want to live in. So I love you. I just don't want you in my life. And please know I'm not talking to any of you. So, and then we have play, relax, have some fun, do something fun. When was the last time you went roller skating or had an ice cream sundae or played a board game like Monopoly? Don't play Chutes and Ladders. It takes forever and ever. And when you think the game is over, you go back to the beginning. So, but do something fun. I challenge you to do something fun and share it with us. Speaking of fun, when I checked the page before coming live today, we are 2 away from 700. I can't believe I didn't say that at the beginning. We're like 698. I mean, that is so exciting to me because when we hit 700, we're going to have a free 30-minute reading giveaway. That's fun, and I'm excited to give that away. I'm very excited to give that away. So just 2 more people joining our community of light, and we're going to have a drawing for 700 people, and someone's going to win a free 30-minute reading. I might even give away 2. We'll see. So this is so exciting. So we have the Akashic Records. Remember, everything that is and was and ever will be is recorded for all time and history in the universe. But everything is as it's supposed to be. Follow your Jeremy Bearimy and know that even if you're looping back on yourself, it's for learning another aspect of the lesson. We don't say, oh my God, I can't believe I have to learn this again. Because if you learned it the first time, you wouldn't have to learn it again. But looping back isn't about that you didn't learn it. It's about that now you're learning another aspect of it. And that's important too. So, oh, I'm so delighted. Like, that makes my heart so incredibly happy. Mwah, you have no idea. That makes my heart so happy. There are no coincidences. Nope, I don't believe in coincidence. I absolutely believe in synchronicity, and I believe in guidance from the universe. And we trust, right? We were to come back to our card of trusting the universe. Where is it? Trusting the universe. Yes? So, I'm sending you all manner of love and light and virtual hugs. And I look forward to hearing from you. I love your comments. I look forward to hearing from you. What is rising up for you? What is coming to the surface? What alligators are trying to present themselves in your lives? So please keep the comments coming. I love reading them. I try to respond to every single one of them. Please share this video with your friends. Let's get 2 more people. We're going to hit 700. And then you know what? We're going to hit 800. So I'm so excited to be giving away some free readings to you, to your friends. Let's see what we can create. And I wish you a blessed, joyous, light-filled week. And I can't wait to be back with you again next Monday. Join me here on Wednesday at 7 o'clock for meditation. And I hope you have a great week. And thank you for being part of my community of light.